If you clicked on this video, it means that you want to be better at EA College Football 26. And the reason why I decided to do this video series is because I'm in an online dynasty. It's called The League. It's on my channel. If you haven't watched it already, I highly recommend watching it. It is high octane, jam-packed, fast-paced, great storylines. We're in week 6, I believe now, going into episode 4, and the storylines are developing. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. I think you would really enjoy it if you give it a try. But I say all that to say that there are a couple guys in our league that are struggling week to week to stay in games, to win football games, and it really is taking a toll on how much joy they are having in the games, in the dynasties. And this series is for them, but it's also for the other people who feel like they can't win games on Heisman, because we play on Heisman slider sets, the base slider set that the game offers you. And I want people to feel more comfortable in beating the CPU, because it really is not that hard. You just have to do a couple of things and really trust yourself and your ability to read not only the defense, but, when you're on defense, read the offense, figure out what they're going to do based off of what they're in to better help yourself put yourself in positions to succeed. And the big thing you need to focus on that you're probably not is running the football. A lot of the people that I see that struggle at this game do not do a good job running the football consistently. And a lot of that stems from their inability to get things going early in the game, and so they abandon it because they get down, and then they start throwing the football, and that's when interceptions happen. Running the ball is great because the only thing that can go wrong is that you fumble the ball. If you're throwing the football, you can throw a pick. You can fumble the ball. You can get sacked for a big loss. There are so many other things that can happen when you're throwing the football that just don't happen when you're not, right? Running the football just allows you to be a little bit more conservative with the football. And that's where you see a lot of guys struggle, is that they lose the turnover battle by 4 or 5 turnovers a game. And if just cleaning that up would allow you to take that next step into being, a below average player or an average player, into be a good or even a great player. Like, that is the biggest difference, is that guys who are great at this game take care of the football. They know what they're doing. They don't put the ball in harm's way a ton, and they can consistently get what they want without having to compromise anything. But the thing is that the only way you're going to get better is if you challenge yourself and you practice. So play just random play now games on Heisman. Practice running into different looks. Practice running different concepts out of different personnel packages, out of different formations, so you get comfortable in doing that stuff. Because I'll be honest, I've played a lot of football video games, and it's over time that I've developed the concepts that I like to run, but I also developed an understanding of when is the best time to run them. Because unlike College Football 25, where it felt like you could really run out of any formation against any defense and you'd have success, in College Football 26, you really have to be intentional with when you are running the football and what you're running it against. And so I'm just going to focus on a couple of the things that I look for when I'm running the football that I've had success with over the course of the years, and it's found success early in this game. So the first thing you have to do when you get to the line of scrimmage is count. And depending on what kind of league you're in, you might not have the time to figure it out, but it's just a quick glance. Why is this important? Because if you see what the defense is in. So I'm going against Kennesaw State right now, and I just played them on Heisman in the online dynasty, and I beat them 42-0. That's not to toot my own horn. It's to say that I do have some idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to just playing the Heisman CPU. I'm not saying I'm a great comp player. I'm not saying I'm great against users, because to be honest with you, I'm pretty okay. I'm nothing special. Like, I'll win games, I'll lose games, but I'm not like this sweaty tryhard that is going to, have an unblemished record against other user teams. That's just not what I am. The big thing is you have to count the defense. So if you'll see, looking at what we're looking at right now, Kennesaw State has 1 with the linebacker, 2, 3, 4 guys to the right of the screen. They also have 4 guys to the left of the screen. Now, those are the guys that are in the box. And so what do I mean when I say count the numbers? You are counting the guys in the box. So right now, there are 7 guys in the box. They do have an overhang player over to the left. They also have the corner out to the right. So there's 7 guys in the box. There are 4 guys to the right. There are 3 guys to the left. I have 4 blockers to the right on the line. I have 2 blockers to the left on the line. I also have my fullback. So just based off of this look alone, even though it seems like running to the right isn't the best decision, running to the right is, based off the mathematics, is the right play here. Now, whether or not it works is completely up to the execution. But you need to know those numbers to know what is the best chance for you to succeed at that play. So as you can see here, I have the numbers, and we blocked it upright. If I were to run it the other direction, it would not have gone that way. So you'll see here, it's a little bit of a different look. And now that they have a guy over the center, there's a half guy. So there are 3.5 guys to the left. There are 4.5 guys to the right. Now, based off of what I'm looking at right now, flipping the play and running this to the left is my best chance. Because theoretically speaking, that center should be able to reach block that nose tackle. My guard should be able to reach block that defensive tackle. My left tackle should be able to reach that edge rusher over there. And then my fullback should be able to block the linebacker out in space. And so I'm going to flip the play. We're going to run it, and that's exactly what happens. Now, if my wide receiver actually held onto his block, that would have been more yards. But again, you see it right here. Now, this situation, you might find better success running a different concept. And so all of your formations will have an audible. And an audible I have out of this I-form wing set is this zone weak run. Now, why would I switch to a zone weak run in this situation rather than running my zone toss? Well, because as you can see, there is a massive gap between my center and my tackle. There is not a single defender there over my guard. And this play runs right behind there. The key here is that you are not looking to hit a home run on every single play. You simply just need 4 yards of carry. Because if you get 4 yards of carry, you are setting yourself up to get a first down every 3 carries. And too many people try to hit the home run every single play. That is not how you're going to get better. That is not how you're going to be a consistent, good team. You need to be able to pick up 4 or 5 yards of play. So you need to put yourself in position to do that. So by running this, I'm going to pick up 6 yards. And that's all I needed was 6 yards there. And so now we're back to our zone toss. Looks like I got 3 guys to the right in the box, 3 guys to the left in the box. I have more blockers on the right side, so I'm going to stick running it to the right side. Again, it's just about putting yourself in the best position to succeed. So let's go to a different run play now, because you should be able to be multiple in your run concepts. And so another thing that I like to do is really spread out the defense. So you can either go compact formation or you can spread out the defense. And the reason why you do either of these things is because look at where the defense is right now. They're in dime right now. So that means they have 1 linebacker on the field. This is a very favorable personnel package for me to run the football. And you can see that they only have 5 guys in the box. I have 5 offensive linemen that are blocking in this formation that are in the box. This is set up to the point where I am likely to get 4 or 5 yards on this alone. And so we're going to snap the ball. And not only do I get 4 or 5, but I'm able to pick up even more. And so it's about knowing where you're going to run the ball. Now, things change a little bit because my tight end in the slot there is not covered by a defender. This likely signals to me that there is a blitz coming from elsewhere on the play. And obviously you can see that that nickel or dime corner right there in between my tackle and my guard that is looking like he's going to blitz. This is going to throw off the blocking of this play because there are 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. So if you press LT and you go to the left, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is theoretically how the offensive line and your wide receivers are supposed to block on this play. This is how they're programmed to block. I always, whenever I run a football, I always go to this to kind of get an idea of what it should look like. Because based off of this, I see that the backside defensive end is not getting blocked on this play, which means that there is a chance that he can make a backside play. I also see that my center and my guard are going to combo block the defensive tackle over top of them and get up to the backer. Now, this is big because I don't want to overrun my blocks. I want to follow my blocks. And the key here is that I am not going to push the right trigger, or R2 if you're on PlayStation, until I'm in the open field. And I know that you feel like you should press R2 immediately, or right trigger immediately, to get that acceleration. I promise you it leads to more instant block sheds, but it also doesn't allow your blocks to set up. So I'm going to run this. I would definitely audible here because I want to put myself in a position to succeed, right? If I know a blitz is coming, I can, go trail shake, put my tight end on some sort of hot route, and be in a better situation to succeed. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to stick with this run game. And you can see here, the run came, and it actually helped us on that side. The blitz did come. So when that blitz came, it actually opened up the fact that the defensive end did not get a clean release because of the game just, doing game things, but the combo block worked. And so because of this, my tight end can now get up to the safety. If I had read it a little bit better maybe, or gotten a better block here from my guard, this is a potential touchdown because everybody else is accounted for here. But because I didn't, I only picked up a few. But you get my point, right? Again, same situation. You can see that there's a blitz coming, likely from that nickel corner over on the right side, and likely from the corner on the left side. This nickel corner on the left side. Why? Because both safeties are over top of my two inside slot receivers. But again, there's only 5 guys in the box. This is a favorable running formation. Now, I do have to be wary of that nickel corner on the right side because he is likely blitzing here. And so I'm keeping this in mind for a potential cutback. So you see the B gap is pretty wide open. So that's the gap between my guard and my tackle. That is looking like where it can hit, right? That is looking like the most prominent spot for this run to hit. But because that guy is blitzing, he's likely going to fill that gap right there. So that means if I can get this A gap right behind my center's butt to open, because he gets up to that linebacker, that cutback is going to be there, and then you see all of that open space to the top left of the screen. So we're going to run it. We're going to see what happens. So I didn't quite get the combo block that I was looking for from my center. They pushed him way too far right for him to come back left. Unfortunately, it ruined the run, but it was good practice. I'll show you in the replay. If he gets up there, so you see that corner does come on a blitz right away. Now my wide receiver cuts him off, so he's able to stop him from making a play. But because of that combo block, my center did too good of a job moving that defensive tackle out of the way. The linebacker was able to get a free release. If that linebacker doesn't get a free release, I want you to see, look at how much open space you have in the middle of the field. Right? So this is just inside zone. This is the most common concept that you're probably going to run out of shotgun formations. And again, follow your blocks. You want to look where your center's butt is, where your guard's butt is, and you want to follow that block. So here, we have a little bit more of a muddy picture. Now again, because it's a too high look, this is still a favorable personnel look to run from. Anytime you get too high safeties, it is telling you that running the ball is going to succeed more times than not. When you only have one high, that's when you start to have to really count the numbers. But because there's only 5 down offensive linemen, and I'll show you, this is how it's going to set up. Even though that there's a corner off to the left side that looks like he's going to blitz, I should have everybody accounted for up the middle. And when teams go with these mug looks, you're actually able to run the ball better than you would expect. But you have to do it out of certain concepts. And that's another key point that I want to talk about. Learning what concepts work most efficiently is huge. So this year, I've noticed that stretches do not work as well as they did in college football 25. And so I've had to run them less than I did last year. But I've learned that tosses work much better than they did last year. So I've ran a lot more tosses. And this is where you kind of have to experiment. You have to learn what works game to game. But coming back to this look, we're going to run the football. And we're going to have plenty of space to go. And you saw there, this is what I was talking about with the backside defensive end. So that corner, because they're not going to get blocked, and they're coming on a blitz, they're going to be able to make a play backside. Now, because of the way the block's set up, I had to cut this up. If you see a guy blitzing from that side, you don't want to cut up if you don't have to. Unfortunately, I did, because there's just way too much space, to not. So he makes the tackle, but guess what? I still got 5 yards. I still got 5 yards. Now, here's an interesting situation. They're in a one high look. They have 6 guys in the box, which means one guy is going to be unaccounted for, and that's the linebacker. This is not a favorable place to run the football, especially inside zone. What you would do here is immediately audible into a pass play. There is no reason for you to be running inside zone into this look. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like. It can still work, but you're limiting your chances to succeed. And that's where it's a problem, right? Look at that. No room for me to run because that linebacker played it well. I mean, he wasn't getting blocked. Now we're back to 5 in the box. Now I feel more comfortable in my ability to run here. Follow your blocks, And keep in mind, I haven't done a single skill move at all in this video, except right there. I did a little bit. This is all just taking what the defense gives you. Again, here, they're coming on a blitz. It looks like it's going to be some sort of man blitz. Why do I think that? Well, if you look, every single man is accounted for. The 2 safeties are over my 1 and 2, and everybody else is in the box. So now I'm running into a box of 7. I only have 5 blockers. Again, this is where you audible. You don't run into this. This is bad practice. This is going to put you in a position to not succeed. I'm going to show you what it looks like. But I blowed up immediately. I didn't have a chance. I knew the blitz was coming. But here, we get a favorable look. 2 high safety, only 5 in the box, and the one guy in the box is off to the the other side of where I'm running it. He's on the back side of the play. Here's how it's going to block. So that the combo block is set up to wall that guy off, giving me the ability to just gash up the middle. We'll see if it sets up that way. Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for. We get 10 yards on that play. Inside zone is probably going to be your best friend if you're a player that likes to run out of shotgun. Okay, so now I'm getting a safety blitz. This would just be dumb to run against. So instead, I'm just going to audible to show you kind of what it looks like because I'm not running a trap play into a double safety blitz. It just doesn't make any sense. So this is what it's going to look like. You're just going to get the ball out quick, right? If you ever see a man blitz, you're going to set up a man beater and you're just going to get the ball out quick. So here is a lighter box. We have 5 in the box. We have 2 high safeties. We're going to run it again. So that's how it should set up. And if I ran it better, it should have been a touchdown. But that's theoretically how it should set up. And I wanted to go to instant replay, not choose new play. So let me go to instant replay here. So this is how it should set up, right? Like that's exactly what you're looking for. Follow your blocker up the field. And here is where I should have cut it outside because you can see, obviously I have 2 guys on the backside trying to make a play with their pursuit angle. If I just kept going, up and right diagonally, I've got plenty of room to run. I didn't get out far enough, early enough, and that's where, I kind of missed out. Another thing you want to do, though, and I just want to go straight to the RPOs. The RPO is super valuable, and not enough people run it, and I think more people should. Because what the RPO does is it freezes the defense. So I have 3 options on this play. I can either hand the ball off on the inside zone. I can throw it to X, who's coming in motion and doing a little fast motion flat, or I can keep the ball. And here's how it sets up. This play is really good, and I recommend adding it to your playbook if you don't have it. Especially, against man coverage, it's a phenomenal beater. Okay, so this is why the RPO is so valuable. As you can see, it is a light box. Right? We only have 5 guys in the box. We do have an overhang defender over our slot receiver, Lacey, right there, but it is a 2 high look as well. This is very favorable for us to run the football. We have 5 guys. They have 5 guys because our tight end is going out in formation. Why is the RPO so important? Because if you can see, based off of what we have here, it literally becomes a 5-on-5. There are no other players that are going to be trying to make a play in this run game other than the safeties that are at 20 yards of depth. Because that corner is going to play that flat. That slot defender is going to play the bubble screen. If they don't, that's where you throw the football. It keeps the defense honest, and it makes your life so much easier running the football. So here, I have the bubble screen. You just have to be able to pay attention to what the defenders are doing. So we're going to have the same play that we ran before. Again, what we're probably going to give it here Yep, we're going to give it. They were ready for it. But look at that. Look at how easy that was to get 4 or 5 yards. So here we have a 6-on-6 box. But we also have a defender that looks like he's going to blitz over Butler. So that's my quick option if he does. He doesn't, I'm just going to hand this ball off. Run inside zone. Boom. Pick up 7 yards. Here, we've got 2 safeties blitzing. So it's likely going to be a man coverage on the back end. We're going to hand it off. Outside zone. Middlebrook's going to outrun a defender. He's going to pick up 4 yards. Look at how easy running the ball is when you run the RPO. And those passing plays are an extension of the run game. I am not throwing the ball beyond the line of scrimmage on these plays. I am simply throwing the ball in a way that is essentially a handoff for my wide receiver. But as you can see, it freezes defenders and allows you to have better lanes in the rushing game. Freeze defender. Look at that. You know, I don't even know if I might not have even made the right read there. But because there's some sort of pass concept on the play, the defense is going to be less likely to just fly up, up the field. Here, easy. I didn't read my blocks great. Still picked up 3 yards. Bang. Backside. Juke. Again, practice. Learn where the hole is going to be. And then once you start to get more comfortable with your ability to read the defense here and really find good, and really get more comfortable in the run game and picking up those consistent yards, then you can start to, figure out and experiment, with what skill sticks you like to use. And, the spin and the juke are things that you absolutely need if you want to get extra yards on plays. Don't hurdle. That's another big one. But here, I'm just going to run the ball. Bang. Look at that. 9 yards. Like this is just adding so many open lanes to my running game. Now, you can really defeat the RPO, especially out of pistol, if you blitz, if you man blitz on the defensive side of the ball. So you have to have counters to that if you are on the offense. You got to expect the defense to run that if you've beaten them with it a couple. Here, I mean, this is the most obvious pass, just easy pass out to Butler that you can ever have. It is such an easy read, and it's going to pick up so many easy yards. Look at that. The RPO is your friend. Another thing that I want to talk about is your inside zone plays out of the I formation are going to hit really well. And again, this is where having that sort of mirrored formation is so important because you can get an idea of where's the best place to run the football. So here, you can see they have 4 guys on each side of my center. I'm going to run it to the right side because I have 4 blockers on that side. And I'm going to pick up 5 yards. But running out of I form and ace formations and strong, and maybe not so much strong, but I form and ace really in pistol formations where you can have a mirrored look on the offensive side of the ball will allow you to flip plays. And flipping plays is going to be huge. And I'll show you in a second why that is. Wasn't able to bounce it there. So here's why being able to flip plays is important. As you can see on the right side, there are 4 defenders. Now, this one isn't as big of a deal as some other situations you might find yourself in, but you're looking at 2 sides of the defense, right? You split this field down the middle of the center. The right side has 4, the left side has 3. You have enough blockers to theoretically block on both sides. If I run this to the left, then I'm essentially one-on-one with the safety. If I run this to the right, there's a bigger chance that I'm going to have to defend, that I'm going to have to defeat a second-level defender. Because on that combo block that's going to happen on that defensive tackle that you see right there, if they don't get him, then I'm screwed. However, here, if they don't get that combo block, I'm okay because my fullback is going to take out that second-level linebacker. So I'm going to flip this play. He's going to take out that player, and all of a sudden, I got a touchdown. It quite literally is that simple. You just need to make your life easier. So here, there are no combo blocks being there's one combo block happening. But on the front side of this play, so it's going to hit on the right, I have a wide open gap. Bang, look at that. 10 yards. Inside zone is going to be your best friend. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that cutback. It's just a feel. It's just feel your offense. And they're in the double mug look again. We're going to run it to the right. We're going to hit. And that one didn't hit as, as well. But we're going to stay the same side. Look at this cutback right here. It walled off perfectly. And I'll show you in the replay. Look at how this hits. Because that combo block, that guard that comes off the combo block there, he looks for work on the backside. All of a sudden, I have that backside cutback. It wasn't super clean, but it gave me an extra. I mean, if I keep pushing this thing right, I might find some green eventually to the outside, but cutting this back up the field probably gets me a lot more yards than if I were to bounce that thing outside. So I'm going to flip the play here. I'm not really sure if it's the best idea just because the numbers don't make a ton of sense, and I'm going to be one-on-one with somebody. But even if I were to run it to the left, I'm going to be one-on-one with somebody anyway. So I'm going to try and take as many people out of the formation that I can. And instead of being one-on-one with a corner or a safety, I'm one-on-one with a linebacker. I much prefer my chances one-on-one with a linebacker than I do a safety or a corner, especially with a guy who's faster in space. So here, hit that cutback. It's like, you just figure out which side is going to be more favorable for you to run the ball and then run it that way. It's really not that hard, but you got to be multiple in your run looks. That is all I have for you today. Be on the lookout for a couple of more videos in this series. I want to talk about the passing game. Next, I want to talk about the defensive side of the ball because a lot of people struggle stopping the CPU offense. And I want to talk about the run. I want to talk about the pass separately of themselves just so that you kind of get an idea of how it works alone. And then we can kind of talk about how it works together. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the flip. See ya.